from Los Angeles, California, the youngster Ron Winger. Also from Los Angeles, California, the great Andy Marzich.
Everybody, and welcome here at the Emerson Lanes in the industrial city of Parkersburg, West Virginia, in the heart of the greatest bowling stars in action every week. Over $75,000 in prizes. The one that the West Coast has been waiting for, the battle of two Californians. This is Fred Wolf. These two stars have big totals going in, and it'll be interesting to see what happens. Andy Marzich from Los Angeles, the youngster Ron Winger from Los Angeles. $1,000 to the winner for this match, $500 to the runner-up. All competition is sanctioned by the American Bowling Congress. 300 games are worth $10,000, and of course, the $250 bonus money going for 5 strikes in a row in one game. The leaders at the end of 6 games, Dave Sutar from Detroit with 1365, Billy Whaley from St. Louis with 32. Going in, Marzich has 740, Winger 686. It should be quite a match. We'll be ready for the first game of 3 in just a moment.
Ron Winger, the young fella from Los Angeles. Andy Marzich won the toss, elected to start on the right side. All games starting on the left. Winger throws, looks good, he's in, and he carries, and he's off for the big strike. Ronald Clark Wing Ding Winger, they call him, out on the West Coast, and all California has been waiting for this one, and here's the great Andy Marzich from Los Angeles. His first 3 games, 740. Winger had 686. They're trying to top young Dave Sutar from Detroit with 1365. Marzich leads the 10-pin in the first frame. Marzich, in his first appearance, defeated Hank Laumann, also of Los Angeles, 234, 227, a 279 finish for 740, winning the $1,000 and winning $950 in bonus money. Andy moves left, cross lane, 10-pin. Be careful. In the channel, and Mr. Marzich is open in the first frame, working with us this week. Sitting in with us from Buffalo, New York, Jimmy Schroeder. Jimmy, we should see a pretty good one this week.
I'm certainly looking forward to it, Fred. The way Andy's been bowling, I kind of figure he's going to shoot a big one.
Well, he's going to need something. He's not going to walk in here. He will need 626 to top Dave Sutar. He needs 583 to top Billy Whaley. Marzich in the second frame. There's the big strike. And this fella can really make him dance. As young Ron Winger moves in, just a youngster, born in 1941 in Preston, Idaho, moved to Los Angeles when he was just a year old. The Southern California Junior Bowler of the Year in 1959. In 1962, he was the Southern California Bowler of the Year. Everybody, look at that. Winger with a beautiful line. Nothing seems to be worrying this youngster right now. As Jimmy says, this youngster likes the right the best. Here's the turn. He's there. Number 3, look out. Ron Winger, he needs 680 to top Dave Sutar. He needs 637 to top Billy Whaley. Now, as we mentioned, these boys are making their second appearance. They had great totals in their first appearance. It's the total pins for 6 games, the 2 appearances that'll qualify our 2 finalists. Marzich trying for the double. He's there and leaves almost the 7-10, nothing but the 10 pin. So Andy's had 3 in the pocket. In his first match, he left a 7-10 leave on a pocket hit, much like that one. So it's 2 10-pins for Marzich here on the right side. He missed this one in the first frame. He'll probably play this one a little tighter, won't he, Jim?
Probably. Go a little straighter at it.
There it is. So Marzich covers in the third frame as his young opponent, Ron Winger from Los Angeles, has started with the first 3 strikes. Marzich now gives it the big turn, gets there, and doesn't carry the 7-pin this time.
Lost the kick.
In Andy's first appearance, it was just a picture series. He was shaking them up, carrying everything on a thin hit. Already he has lost a couple thin ones. He's been in the pocket 4 times, 2 10-pins, and a 7-pin. He carried 1 strike, and he has the spare. As Ronnie moves in on the right with a chance to really get out in front. If Marzich begins to slip, of course, Winger has the chance to catch him in a hurry. Hey, look out. Oh, he got away with one. Well, a real tickler. There's a good break for the youngster, Jimmy.
Well, he's throwing a ball full of dynamite out there.
And 686 against 740, 54 pins. He's almost got all 54 back. He will with this one and the bonus. Ready, throw, Jim, carry, 5 in a row. Well, I don't think Mr. Winger threw that exactly where he wanted to.
Just a hair high out there, Fred.
Oh, he lined that one all the way. Straight as a string, as the boys say. Andy Marzich now moving in on the right. This could shake Andy up a bit. This youngster's flying. He's in again. And another 10-pin. Well, it's interesting. Andy was carrying everything in his first appearance. He's now put 5 balls in the pocket, 3 10-pins and a 7-pin and a strike. He missed the 10-pin in the first frame. Both these boys, as usual, wearing their colorful crystal matching King Louis bowling shirt and slack. Nice outfit for your bowling team. There's the covers. So at the end of 5 frames here in the first game of 3, young Ron Winger is all the way with 5. Marzich is 67 spare. He's in again. And another 10-pin. That's 4 10-pins in 6 frames. Looked like he threw that one the way he wanted to. Now, what do you do in a case like this, Jimmy? Here he's lost 4 10-pins. Do you start adjusting or just figure that the law of averages will start taking care of themselves and you'll carry a few of these?
Well, we're bowling. I just keep throwing that ball in the pocket.
Well, Marzich covers it, and I believe Andy is just a bit concerned right now. Unable to get a double here in 6 frames, 1 strike and 1 open frame, and here comes Ronnie Winger back now. Every strike from here on worth $50 additional. Has the first 5, and he has already caught Marzich. He trailed him by 54 pins. Sets one there. He's got another one. He's halfway. So Dave Sutar from Detroit, who turned in 705 and 660, the leader here for the 6 games with 1365. Certainly that figure in jeopardy as this youngster begins to line them out. Billy Whaley with 1322. The man that certainly is hanging on a very thin hook right now because Marzich only needs about 580 to top him. But Andy may need more to get past Sutar if Winger keeps going. For number 7. How about those apples there, Jimmy? Oh, this kid's really firing. That's 7 in a row. 5 for 250. He's now reached the $350 mark. 5 more strikes. The bonus money will wipe itself out. Mr. Winger will be worth $10,000. And it might happen in the next 10 minutes. Don't go away. And I believe that Andy is just a bit shaken up here with this great start by the youngster Ron Winger, also from Los Angeles.
I think Andy's riding a wild bronco out there, Fred.
Yes, sir. This youngster just fires and walks back in a hurry.
Come out of the chute fast.
Doesn't he? That's the first ball that Andy's had out of the pocket. The 1, 2, 4, 8. He's missed that one, and Mr. Marzich in that 740 is beginning to look a little weak at the moment. Winger needs 680 to top Sutar. It could be Winger and Marzich.
There he was. The 7-10 was up there again.
And just a slight sickly smile coming from Andy Marzich. Here's Winger. Let's take a look now, right over his right shoulder. We're in the 8th frame. He has the first 7, first game. The youngster from Los Angeles. Here comes the turn. He's there. Number 8. Well, now we move to the left side. And Jimmy, being a youngster like this fella, I just wonder if he's thinking of anything.
Well, he's finishing on the lane he likes best.
That's, I was just going to mention.
Big edge.
He likes the right side. If he can get this one, he should have a little extra confidence in the 10th.
He knows something I don't. I don't like that lane as well as I do 37.
Ronald Clark Winger, Los Angeles. Winging number 9. Good hit, and the youngster is stopped in the 9th after 8 in a row. He couldn't throw it any better than that. A bad break for Ron Winger of Los Angeles. Out in front, a terrific start. He has passed Andy Marzich and is now in the driver's seat. He needs 680 to top Dave Sutar. This is the first game of 3. Championship Bowling Television's #1 bowling show, with the world's great stars in action at Parkersburg, West Virginia. There's the stuff. Ronnie Winger with a 10-pin in the 9th on 8 in a row. That's $400 worth of bonus money. He's on a strike. As Jimmy Schroeder mentioned, here's a big ball. He can still pull out a pretty good game. Gotta hurry. He gets there, this time his second 7-pin on a thin hit. And he seems to be playing them pretty wide, Jim, don't you think?
Well, he sure is playing them wide, but his ball has been coming back from that angle, and all of a sudden it seems to be just hanging there a little bit. That's a touchy lane, and I think it's all fingers on that lane. You get the fingers out of the ball right, the ball will finish.
Marzich covers the 7-pin and moves to the left. Marzich into 10th. There it is. He's in there. That's the line ball that Marzich certainly can throw. That's about the first solid strike he's had. He's been playing him a little on the mixed side, the thin side. And Andy, with this strike, the best he can get with a full count is 180. His young opponent is still kicking around 279. So Winger could beat Marzich by 100 pins here the first game. And that'll give him a little margin to work on. Once more, a little more speed. That was the answer. Andy threw that one a little harder, Jim.
Well, the caliber of bowler that Andy is, I'd say that he's going to come back here and shoot a couple pretty good games the next 2 outs.
Well, he was spotting Winger. Winger was 54 pins behind Marzich going in. This may be an important part of this match. He gets 29 for 179, and that's the story. Winger can go all the way for 279. Marzich going in with 740. Winger with 686. Next week, it'll be Carmen Salvino versus Dick Weber. Winger in the 10th. Throws these too tight. And what do you know about that? Oh, there was some peculiar action.
Yeah. Hit like that'll loosen you up a little bit.
Yes, sir. I was just going to mention to buckle up for safety with seat belts. I think those AMF tournament grade pins needed seat belts that time. Gotta hurry. There it is.
young fella took full advantage of that lucky strike, his first one in the 10th, and the story can be just about what we mentioned a moment ago, 279 to 179. That's 100 pins. Winger trailed Marzich by 56, so he'll have 44 pins to work on over the next 2 games to top Marzich for the 6-game total. That'll be important for Winger. There it is, 279. Well, it looked very simple for the Los Angeles youngster. 279, Marzich 179. Don't go away. Anything is liable to happen here this week. Fred Wolf, along with Jimmy Schroeder, standing by for the second game of 3 on Championship Bowling, television's #1 bowling show. The scores for the first game: Andy Marzich 179, Ron Winger 279. How about that, ladies and gentlemen? With 2 games to go, and of course Dave Sutar still out there with 1365, Ron Winger now leads Marzich by 46 pins with 2 games to go. How about a little encouragement? We'll get another 279. All right?
Andy Marzich from Los Angeles, California, the big man on the 1963 Professional Bowlers Tour. Now, young opponent by 46 pins for the first 4 games. Andy throws. This time we see the 10-pin, and we've been looking at this one. Andy had himself 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is his 6th 10-pin leave, and we're only in the first frame of the second game.
I wouldn't believe that, Fred.
It's hard to believe after watching Andy's first performance. When he finished with 279, he had a chance to look at one this week for 740 at the 10-pin, and he covers the spare. And very quick to get up is young Ron Winger, the Los Angeles Flash wing-ding winger. What a wing-dinger he was in the first game. 11 strikes out of a possible 12. A real challenger to Dave Sutar, the leader at the end of 6 with 1365. He's too high. Look out! It looked like the Angels were still around for the youngster, but he missed that kick.
Laid that ball a little bit deeper, Fred, and just didn't have room to hold that line.
A little deeper, and it looked like just a little slower.
It could have been.
Ron moving left now. Covering the 6-pin for the spare. So the young fellow will now take the move to the left side, lanes 37 and 38. We refer to 37 as the left side, 38 to the right side. We mentioned next week Carmen Salvino against Dick Weber. Weber going in with 670, Salvino was 691. And it could be that these 2 Los Angeles boys just might be 1-2 before this one is over.
Winger back in the pocket.
They'll have to top Dave Sutar with a 1365. Billy Whalew's 1322 looks like it's just about pushed out of any contention to make the finals. Winger only needed 637 to top Whaley. And when you can get 279 of them in one game, you're on your way. Marzich out the window. The 1-2-4.
Yeah, he didn't roll that one as smooth as he has been. It might be bothering him, them 10 pins, a little bit.
The 10 pins, and do you think, too, that possibly this, we can't call him a young upstart, but certainly he's a youngster. Ron Winger from Andy's hometown, Los Angeles, really throwing the book at him. And this could put him under just a little pressure that I don't think Andy was figuring on. Marzich needs 447 to top Sutar now for the 2 games that remain. Winger needs 401 to top Sutar. So it could be, if Marzich continually stays in trouble. He's got that one. It could be Ron Winger and Dave Sutar, and what a couple of finalists they would make. Two boys in their early 20s. Youth must be served, and Championship Bowling serves it. 93 bowlers have appeared over the past 10 years. Too far out. Hurry up. Almost got a piece of the pie. Winger now a little concerned. He knows where he sits. These boys can read that scoreboard pretty good. He knows he needs 401 to top Sutar, and I'm sure Marzich knows he needs 447. You don't have to tell him, do you, Jim? You boys can figure it out sitting on the bench.
It registers automatically.
We're in the third frame of the second game. The cover, Winger has it. So Ronnie will move to the left. This young fellow got into bowling as any typical youngster, I believe, might get interested. A new establishment was built near his home. Curiosity got the best of him. He watched this establishment as it was being built. As soon as it opened, he thought, I've got to try this. This was in 1955, and he averaged 123 his first year. Too high. Look out, he broke it up, 4-7. Kind of got away with one there, Jim. Looked bad.
It's funny how you get out there and lose that touch. Go 10, 12, 15 balls in a row in a pocket, and all of a sudden, it's a different game.
Ron Winger in the fourth. Second game. Covers the spell. And now Andy Marzich. For 9 games on Championship Bowling, Andy averaging 224. Winger averaging 214 for 9 games. But that 279 opener is going to pull that average up a little bit for the double. Solid 10 again. And we're going to have to start keeping track of those 10 pins, John. John Milanese, our statistician. He had 5 of them the first game. He had 1 in the first frame of this game, and now 1 in the fourth. That's 7 10 pins in 14 frames. Now, the question is, do you make an adjustment? Or do you just keep firing?
I thought he threw that ball beautifully. He stretched out there, rolled it nice and easy.
The leading money winner on the 1963 Winter Tour won over $22,000. Well, no 10 pins. And Marzich just keeps pouring them in. 77, striking the 5th. Ron Winger holding on, leading Marzich by 46 pins overall. He leads in the match by 100 pins. Winger had 686 in his first match. Marzich 740. Junior is too high. He caves in another one. And the boy is living. 78 strike for Winger, 77 strike for Marzich. We're in the second half, 6th frame, second game. Winger on a strike, sets one. There's the double. So the youngster needing only 401 to top Dave Sutar in the last 2 games gets a fast double here in the 5th and 6th. Marzich needs 447 in the last 2. That means that Andy is going to need a couple of 220 games. If you cut it in half, he'll need a 4-bagger at least each game, or the equivalent. He would like this one. There it is. But look out, he may be off and away. That's the famous Marzich mixer. I'm sure you've seen that a lot of times around the Pro Tour, haven't you, Jimmy?
Oh, I certainly have. This boy has been fabulous at that same identical hit. He just kicks them out of there very slowly, but they go. Seem like they go one at a time.
He was the winner of the Denver Open on the 63 Tour, the St. Louis Open, the Boston Open, the St. Paul Open. He won the 1963 Southern California Match Game title. Also, the Los Angeles Match Game title once more. There he goes. And that's 3 in a row. So Marzich now beginning to make him dance as he works on 3 strikes. And up steps the youngster from Los Angeles also. And Ron is on a double going into the 7th. Solid 7, Ron Winger. Man, you can't hit him any better than that. We've got to call that one a tap, don't we, Jim?
Certainly do. He had that labeled all the way.
Some of the boys keep saying there's only one tap, and that's a solid 8. Sometimes when I see these solid 7s and some of these solid 10s, you can't hit him any better than that. Winger on 2. He needed that one. Marzich has picked up 10 pins with his triple. And Ronnie will move to the left. We're in the 8th. Ron Winger, who needs 401 in the last 2 games to top Dave Sutar from Detroit, who is out in front with 13.65. 10 pin, and he gets it out. Well, I'm sure that Ronnie would have traded that one for the solid 7 on top of the double, but he still has room for bonus money. This is Andy Marzich on 3, going for 4. He likes it. Yeah. He's got it. Boy, there was some delayed action, just beautiful action over there on the left side, and Mr. Marzich has 4 in a row as he moves to the left to knock on bonus door money. Ron Winger going into this game out in front of Marzich by 46 pins. Here he comes. Too high, breaks it up, and the $250 bonus money. No go for Marzich. In his first appearance, when he shot his 740 defeating Hank Laumann, Andy cashed in bonus money $950. He had bonus money coming in every single game. In the 9th, the cover of the 6th pin, Andy has it. That would have given Marzich the 230 game. Now he needs 447. He can get out of this game with 230 if he can double in the 10th. Ron Winger, who is on his way to top Sutar, he only needs 401. He's there. He's got another solid 7 pin. This has got to be impossible. 2 in a row on the right side. Just solid. That 7 pin didn't even move.
Wasn't even close.
1 pin shot right across in front of it, probably the 4. Some peculiar action on the left side. Let's see if this disturbs the young fella. Oh, he could be on 5 in a row for 230. He could be going in with over 500 for the first 2. At the 7 and the cover. Going into the 10th frame, Winger 167 spare. Marzich 186 spare. Winger in the 10th, right back in the pocket. This is going to be the strongest 200 game that I've seen in a long time, Jimmy.
It certainly is, Ricky.
It's still a pretty good hit. He has smashed that pocket since the 4th frame every ball. A double, a solid 7. A strike, a solid 7. A strike, and a solid 8. What do you... Look at Mr. Winger doesn't know what to think. Now, there is the perfect tap. Is that what you call the perfect tap?
Well, anytime you don't get a strike and you're in the pocket, solid, I think it's a tap, but people say it isn't.
207. You'll never see a better 207 game in your life. I'll bet you that. So Ronnie now still must pay attention. He needs 401 in the last 2 games. He's got 207, so he needs 194 the last game to top Dave Sutar from Detroit. Andy Marzich needed 447. Here's another big frame for Andy. A double here will make it a little easier for him in the 3rd game. Too high. He kicked out the 4. So these 2 boys are going to be very, very close going into the final game. The youngster was 46 pins out in front of Marzich. He can lose this game by 30 pins. The margin will be about 16 pins. So it could just well be that both Marzich and Winger can top Dave Sutar. And it'll be up to Carmen Salvino and Dick Weber next week to determine the two finalists. Too high, the 4-7, and Marzich settles for 226 with the cover. He will need 221 in his last game. Winger will need 194. These games are important. An additional $15,000 in the final. So for the second game, Marzich 226, Winger 207 with two solid 7 pins and a solid 8. We'll be back for that big third game. Don't you miss it. This is Fred Wolf along with Jimmy Schroeder. Just about a minute. We'll be back with it here.
At the end of 2 games, Andy Marzich 179 and 226. His total 405. For Ron Winger, 279 and a 207 with 2 solid 7 pins and a solid 8. His total 486. Winger needs 221 to top Dave Sutar from Detroit. Correction, Winger needs 194 and Andy Marzich needs 221. How about it, Parkersburg? A little encouragement. Ready?
It'll be Ron Winger starting the third and final game, and the wing ding from Los Angeles has really been winging him. He needs 194 in this game to top Dave Sutar from Detroit. The big turn, he's up there.
Then he carries.
Well, that's about the first mixer, I believe, that Winger's thrown here in the entire 2 games, Jimmy.
Yeah, that's the first shaker off the wall. He's been tearing him right out of there.
Looked pretty loose.
That's a nice way to start.
Well, after losing 2 solid 7s and an 8, I imagine he feels I better throw one out and see what'll happen. There's a lot of pressure on this fella. Andy Marzich, 221. There's the first one. Now, you just don't pick 221 games off of trees, especially under these conditions. These lanes reconditioned every week for this competition. Brand new AMF tournament grade pins, registered sets, matched weights. But these boys with their Am-Flight Magic Line bowling balls are going after the numbers they're thinking of. The magic number for Winger, 194. For Marzich, 221. They both start with strikes. Winger on his way to a beautiful 700 series. Marzich throws a little more speed. He gets there but leaves the 4-pin. He still needs a 4-bagger. What chances you giving Marzich for 221, Jim?
Well, I don't like the way he's throwing that ball on 37. He seems to be playing it tight from where I see it. I think he's got to give that lane a little more room.
At the 4, Andy covers. So Ron Winger now moving in on the right side. The 1962 Southern California Bowler of the Year. 3 years before that, he was the Southern California Junior Bowler of the Year. Just a youngster, born in 1941. On a strike, needs 194. Too high, and he almost got away with it. The 6-pin is up there.
Seems like Ronnie's getting deeper and deeper and deeper on that 38. He's almost on the 4th arrow, that shot.
He certainly was between the 3rd and 4th. He was playing just inside of the 3rd diamond. As Jim Schroeder pointed out, he's moving farther left all the time. There's the cover. He has the spare, and he moves to the left side. Here's some of the 6-game totals. Most of the field has appeared twice. Dave Sutar leading with 1365. He had totals of 705 and 660. Billy Whaley with 1322. Maury Oppenheim, 1291. Jimmy Schroeder, who is sitting in with us this week, 1279. Fred Lenning, 1267. Johnny Gunther, 1263. Too high, the 3-6-10. And Mr. Winger has got to pay attention. Dave Sutar sweating one out. Winger needs 194. Marzich, 221. One of these boys are sure to end up in the first or second position. They certainly don't need much to top Whaloo. So Billy Whaloo definitely will not be a finalist. Unless there's an earthquake. The 3, 6, 10, he's got it. Nice shot. So the young fella has not had an open frame. Marzich has had 7 10-pins. Born in Cleveland, Ohio in 1935. Moved to the West Coast in 1946. He's right back. Doesn't get there. That one seemed to skid right at the pocket. The 2, 4, 5, 8, 6-pin count, too.
This can be a nightmare spare to shoot at. There's about 18 different ways of missing it.
The exclusive AMF spur maker indicates the ball between the 2 and the 5. And then, of course, hope the ball keeps moving to get that blind one back there. The 8, he has it. Very nice. No doubt about it. So Andy moves to the left. Hank Lauman, the great champion from Los Angeles, has been a great help in this boy's career, has helped him over the years, and now, of course, it's student over tutor. Hurry. There's another bad count. He managed to get 9 of them, and Mr. Marzich gave that one enough room, Jimmy.
Yes, he did.
Well, I'm going to ask you a question here. We're in the 4th frame. We have 6 frames to go. What chance does Dave Sutar have to stay in the number 1 or number 2 spot, Jim?
Well, I wouldn't mind being in his shoes, Fred. Back to his line.
Winger needing 194. He's already lost 3 pins in count, so he will have to get a double along the way. And here's an opportunity. He is on a strike. He throws. He's there, and the 4-pin stops him. So Ronnie doesn't have the double yet. Pretty good hit.
Really lifted that ball. Might even cut his swing a little bit short because he lifted so hard.
We're in the 5th of the 3rd and final game. Ronnie Winger, wing-ding at the 4. He has it. For the $1,000, Winger is out in front. They're thinking of the finals where the winner will eventually get $10,000. The runner-up, $5,000. Marzich missed bonus money in the last game. He had 4 in a row. Winger, of course, with $279 in the first game, cashed in pretty good. There's another 6-pin count, and Mr. Marzich right now can lose no more pins in counts, and he must have a 4-bagger. And that's practically impossible, unless he can catch the 4 on the end. And he'll need 5, actually, on the end. So Andy doesn't have too many frames left, and here's a tough shot. Made it again. Well, Jim, we're running out of frames.
Yes,
at the end
sir.
of 5 here in the 3rd game. Winger is 77 spare. Marzich is 71 spare. Andy Marzich, Los Angeles, now from the left. We're in the 6th frame. He's looking for a 4-bagger. There's the first one. And a little more speed that time, Jimmy. I'm sure you could see that. I think Andy's now going to really put on the squeeze. The only thing that'll stop him probably will be another 10-pin. Very deep. Too high. Wide open. 4-6. And there goes his 194. So that means he's going to need a triple for 194. And Dave Sutar, the young Detroiter, standing by with 1365. It's like they say, it's nice to have it hanging on the wall and let the boys shoot at it. Ron just pushed that one up. He takes 9. That's his first open frame. So the battle now is going to be, Jim, whether it's Winger in second place or Marzich in second place. And this match gets very close. And this one in the 8th frame for the youngsters going to be the big one. Marzich moving in on the right. He will actually need 5 strikes because he can't afford to lose any pins in counts. There's the set, and he kicks out the 4-pin, and Marzich is still alive. Well, he only has one way to go, Jim. I keep mentioning 4 in a row for 220, but he needs 221, and his 4th strike would be in the 9th. So he actually is going to need his first one in the 10th.
Well, that's what's made Andy so famous, being able to come through in the clutch.
Great clutcher. Of course, Andy's big move now is to try to beat Winger. He trailed Winger by 27 pins going into this game. He has him by 17. So this strike would put him tie with Ron Winger. Big turn. There it is. The 7-pin stops him. And Mr. Andy Marzich now is in trouble. Looked like a pretty good ball. He just didn't get enough action over in the left corner. The best that Marzich can shoot now is 220. He will be, well, he has a chance to tie. He needed 221 for 1366. So Ron Winger now moves in on the right side, and the youngster has one way to go. He's on a strike. This one would give him about 20 pins over Marzich. Whether he beats Sutar or not, that second position is just as good because they only have Salvino and Weber to worry about next week. There it is. There it is. That's the big one. And that just about puts Andy Marzich out of business here as far as young Ron Winger is concerned. Andy cannot beat Sutar. The best he can get, 70, 60, 90, and 220. 220 would give him a tie with Sutar. Winger throws. He's there. He knew that was the one. Yes, sir, he knew that was the ticket. He just banged his fist right on the approach, Jimmy, and there's a great young competitor. You're going to have to watch this fella in years to come.
Sure puts him in there when he needs him, no question.
The big triple, he needed 194 to beat Dave Sutar, and that just about did it. Unless he gets a bad count in the 10th. Marzich throws, he's on the nose, breaks up to 4-6, and Dave Sutar from Detroit will hold on definitely in the second position, depending on what Ron Winger can do in the 10th frame. And Ronnie has chance for bonus money. He's on 3 strikes. So Andy Marzich, who had 740 in his first appearance, games of 234, 227, and 279, just could not get started this week. When he had 4 10-pins in the first 6 frames, missed one of them, and then missed the 1, 2, 4, 8 in the 7th. He's in the 10th frame. He throws and leaves one more 10-pin, his first one in this game. So Marzich will fall into the 3rd spot. It's the top 2 men, one more week of qualifying play. Carmen Salvino will come in with 691. He's going to need a big total, around 675. Weber comes in with 670. Weber will need around 700. We are in Parkersburg, West Virginia, Championship Bowling, television's #1 bowling show. A great finish. 10th frame, Andy Marzich. One more ball. The count for 198, and it will not be enough. He gets 6 of them for 194, and that's exactly what Winger needed. So Ron Winger Now, this is a very big ball for Ronnie. He needs 194, so actually he needs a mark in the 10th to top Sutar. This strike is the big one. He sets it. There's no doubt about it. There was a clutcher. Yep. Oh, he really has answered the challenge here with the wide open split in the 6th. He had to get a double to beat Sutar, and here he sits on 4, every one of them right in the slot. And here's the bonus money coming up again. He started the first game with 8 in a row. Come on, boy. Here! Well, he almost got away with it. There's the 6 pin. At the 6 pin, and he covers the spare. The count, 213 in the last game for Winger, 194 for Marzich, and Ronnie Winger, Wing Ding Winger from Los Angeles, has topped Dave Sutar. Marzich didn't quite make it. We'll check the scores. And we want to thank Jimmy Schroeder for sitting in with us this week here on Championship Bowling at Parkersburg, West Virginia, at the Emerson Lanes. This is Fred Wolf. Stand by now for the figures.
Here are the scores for Andy Marzich. 179, 226. He needed 221. He got 194. The total is 599. For Ron Winger, an opener of 279, 207. Ronnie needed 194 the last game to top Dave Sutar. He came through with 213. His total 699. Did you enjoy this one, ladies and gentlemen? Now we take a look at the totals for their 6 games. The leader is now Ron Winger with 1385 for his 6 games. That's an average of 231 per game. And he's such a young fellow, ladies and gentlemen. I think he should have another round of applause. Dave Sutar, the young Detroiter, still in the 2nd spot with 1365. Marzich, 3rd with 1339. Billy Whaley, 4th with 1322. Let's call out Andy Marzich. Andy? Well, my boy,
What a day this
I got to ask you a question. Here's your $500 as the runner-up.
Thank you.
And Jimmy Schroeder, who was working with us this week, we just felt that the way Ron started out on you with that tremendous 279, 8 strikes in a row, whether this had anything to do with the way you were throwing your ball.
No, it didn't, Fred. I was just figuring that it was going to be me and Ron. I didn't hope to bowl as bad as I did the last 2 games. I had a lot of confidence. Just one of those days where I couldn't carry the hits that I usually do.
How could you count for all those 10 pins? You know, you had 7 10 pins through the first game and first 4 or 5 frames of the second game.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. It's what keeps us coming back to this crazy game of bowling.
Well, looks like right now we have Carmen Salvino and Dick Weber next week. We could have a couple of pretty young fellas in the finals.
Well, it looks like it. I think it's going to be exciting, next week's match, and I think Ron can sleep well the next few nights.
You think he can?
I think so.
Thank you very much. A great
Thank
champion, ladies and gentlemen, Andy Marzich. Well, let's get him out here. Wing Ding Winger, they call him. Take care of this here. $400, is that right, for your 8 strikes in a row?
Right.
And this $1,000 for beating your friend out there from Los Angeles. This was the battle of the California Giants, Dad and Junior, more or less. And it could well be that you know Dave Sutar?
Oh, yeah.
You're well acquainted with him?
Good friends.
About your age, too, isn't he?
Same
You're a
age, I think.
youngster? Youth must be served, Andy. We got to watch these youngsters. How did you feel about the 194 going into the last game?
Well, I was a little tight the first few frames. I was trying to be a little careful there.
Mm-hmm.
And I eased up on the 6th frame. That's why I got the 4-6. And then I thought,
You thought,
I got nothing to lose.
The devil with it, and you
Yeah.
just threw 4 in a row in there like
Started
freight
going.
trains, weren't they?
Throwing harder.
Ronnie, good luck to you. We hope to see you in the finals. I think Parkersburg would like to see you in the finals, wouldn't you?
Thank you.
Okay, boy. to join us again next week. It'll be Carmen Salvino and the great Dick Weber. It should be a good one, and we'll know who the two finalists will be. This is Fred Wolf. We're at the Emerson Lanes in Parkersburg, West Virginia. It's Championship Bowling, television's #1 bowling show. The finals, a $15,000 added purse. So until next week, Fred Wolf reminding you that you don't have to play a sport good to be a good sport. Goodbye. Matching shirts and slacks used on Championship Bowling by King Louie. Championship Bowling is sanctioned by the American Bowling Congress, and we wish to thank AMF for their cooperation in helping us to produce Championship Bowling.